Welcome everyone. It's Granmommy. Time for another episode of Cooking with Granmommy. Listen, I want to remind you, please share the video and subscribe to the video and let me know your comments. I've been getting questions and comments and people are making some yummy food and I love to hear that. That's what we're all about. We want to help you get into your kitchen and make some food because remember, at Granmommy's house, food is all about love and everybody of all ages are welcome. So today we're going to continue with our Thanksgiving ideas. Last week, remember, we did the pumpkin roll, which you can make ahead and freeze, so you have one thing ready to go for Thanksgiving. And today we're going to work on two small things, how to make some yummy yeast rolls and how to make tasty gravy. Tasty, you know why? It starts with butter. Yes. So, welcome today. Let's get started with these two yummy recipes. So, let's start with our dinner rolls. Now, we're going to use frozen dough. You can get Kroger brand. These are called Rhodes. And you get 36 dinner rolls in a package. They're frozen hard, solid. And what we're going to do is your job then, once you buy the dough frozen, because that gives you a huge head start. You don't have to make your own dough, but you know, someday you may work up to that. So what we're going to do is prepare our pan. You can put these in a 9x9, a 9x12. I like using this type of pan. So I'm going to use some cooking spray, and I'm making 6 for our show today. And then I'm going to take out these frozen, hard as a rock, and I'm going to put them in my muffin pan. This is a good job for kids to do if they're helping you out. If I make these for Sunday dinner, I'll put them out like this before I go to church. And then I come home and finish cooking, and 4 hours later, 4 to 5 hours later, they're ready to put in the oven. So I have them in my pan, and now I'm going to put cooking spray on some clear saran wrap. And I'm going to cover them. Now when you do this part, be careful. Don't stretch it tight because these are going to raise up out of these cups. So loosely put it on top, and all you have to do is just let this sit anywhere in your kitchen and they will raise up and be nice and fluffy. So we're going to put those aside and let them be raising. Just leave them right here on the counter. The dinner rolls have been raising for 4.5 hours. You're to remember, you raise them from between 3 and 5. So I'm going to take off the covering. I'm going to put them in the oven at 350. And I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. Don't those look great? And I love the smell of yeast dough and yeast bread. So let me stick these in the oven, set the timer. All right, that's the yummy sound of yeast rolls being done. I wish you could smell these. If only we had smell-o-vision, right? So let me grab these out of the oven. And look at this beautiful bread. Now remember, all you had to do was put the frozen dough into the pan, and look how beautiful these are. I like using a basket with a little napkin or a towel. You can even use a paper towel. Sometimes I just bang it on the table, see what comes out. Then I can use a fork to give them a little push. Okay, now here's the best part. I'm going to take one of these beauties. I'm going to cover these up and keep them warm. That napkin also helps when you put them on the table. So, I always like using a fork to open bread so you're not smashing it. So I'm just going to put a fork in this and lift it, pull it apart. Nice and hot. Have some butter. Just going to put a little bit on each side. I wish you could smell this. Wish you could taste it. Yep, I do like lots of butter, I know. So there we have it. There are your warm yeast dinner rolls for Thanksgiving, for Sunday dinner, whenever you'd like to do it. Now, let's get started on making some gravy. And go. All right, so now we have our dinner rolls ready. If you were making those while, you know, for your dinner, they might be in the oven at this point because I'm going to show you how to make the gravy. And you'll do this after you have your turkey out of the pan and all your other dishes are coming up. So we're going to start here with 2 tablespoons of butter. I have my pan here on medium. Now normally I would use a saucepan, but because I want you to be able to see what's happening in this pan, I'm going to use this small skillet so you can get a look here. So I'm going to melt this butter. And we're talking about Thanksgiving and making turkey gravy, but remember, you can use this for roast beef gravy, ham gravy, whatever you're making. And if you aren't cooking it, let's say you pick up a rotisserie chicken for dinner one night and you have mashed potatoes or noodles that you want gravy on, then you can buy a can of chicken broth and use that. So my butter is melted. Now I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of flour. And this is making the roux that we're going to make our gravy out of. Stir it around. See, it's going to get very thick. That's what it looks like. I'm going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I like some pepper in mine. That's optional, depending on what your tastes are. If I have a big kitchen house full of people, I usually hand this off to somebody else. Just say, here, throw in the butter, here's the flour. It's such a simple thing to make, so they can help do that while I'm working on getting the other vegetables and the other foods ready to put on the table. I hope you're planning a nice Thanksgiving with friends or family. The more the merrier. As soon as the turkeys are available in the grocery store, I'm going to show you how to do that. I have such a simple recipe. You just won't believe how quick and easy it is to make your turkey. And then with our leftover turkey, we're going to look at something yummy to make with that too in the weeks ahead. So this is thickened. See how it looks here? So now I have 1 cup of broth. And today I'm using beef broth. That's what I had available in my freezer. Now, the broth is what really gives it the flavor. And if you're stirring this and you find that it's getting too thick, you can just add a little bit of hot water in. It's pretty easy and flexible. You're not going to ruin it if you need to do that. So I'm just using the whisk to break up the flour and the butter lumps that were in here when I put in the broth. And this is starting to get thick. I'm going to turn my heat off. I'm going to move it over here to this burner. Now, mine has gotten thicker than it should be. I'm going to get some water. Well, I have some right here in my teapot. I'm just going to pour in a little water, give it a stir. Make sure if that's going to thin it down enough. I think I need just a little more. So just do a little at a time and stir. You'll get it right. A little bit more. So see, 1 cup of broth makes a lot of gravy. All right, now we've got it. It's just right. 2 tablespoons of butter, 1/4 cup of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I did a sprinkling of pepper. Stir the flour and butter until it's very thick. Pour in a cup of broth. If it gets too thick, then pour in some water. You can serve your gravy in a bowl and use a spoon. You can use a pitcher. I like to put mine right here in this large one. And then you just pass it around and it's easy to pour onto your plate. So, Thanksgiving, we have yummy gravy for your mashed potatoes and for your turkey. And we have beautiful dinner rolls, yeast dinner rolls, all very easy to put together. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're enjoying fall. I hope you're enjoying all the beautiful colors and the cooler weather, getting out your sweaters and your sweatshirts, and maybe you'll be in the kitchen doing a little more cooking now that it's getting cooler outdoors. See you later. Bye-bye.